National Park, which is in south of Texas, just along the border of Mexico. It is an enormous national park to explore, and we are so excited to be here. There's 3 different climates here: the desert, the river, and the mountains, and we plan to explore all of them. So get ready, have some fun with us. If you're coming to Big Bend, we highly suggest dedicating a few days to exploring this park. It is a massive national park. There are 3 main areas of the park to explore, although there's lots of backcountry roads with different trails and hiking and activities to do. The park has several main entrances and visitor centers, and they also have their own gas stations within the park because once you're here, there's really nothing else around. You're going to need gas to get from the areas of the park that you want to explore, so they have that for you, but it comes at a pretty steep price. There's also stores that you can purchase grocery-like items, so if you really are in a bind, they do have things for you here, but I definitely suggest coming well prepared. Water is also scarce here, so they do allow 5 gallons of water per person, so they try not to have you fill up your RV if you're on an RV coming to visit. They really want you to be prepared having your tanks full when you arrive. There are 3 different areas at the park. You have Rio Grande, Castellan, and Chisos Basin. Those all have campgrounds that are more well developed rather than backcountry camping. If you want to camp in a tent, or maybe your RV or your rig is set up to actually go on some rough roads, you can apply for a permit, which is good for up to 14 days, which means you can park anywhere that is permitted for backcountry camping in the park. Now, permits are limited. We unfortunately got here and they didn't have any more for backcountry RV parking. So we were stuck at the Rio Grande campground, which is a beautiful campground right on the Rio Grande River. But it does come at a price of $14 per night, and there is no amenities. There is water if you need to fill up, but again, remember, water is scarce, and there is a dump station, so that's a bonus. Last thing I would mention is that service and reception here is terrible. Pretty much once you get within 30 miles of the actual national park, you're not even within the area yet, you are going to have no cell reception. There's nothing out here but desert, mountains, and rivers. So be prepared to unplug and be prepared to enjoy. If you absolutely need to connect for some reason or another, you can go to one of the campground stores, which typically have Wi-Fi you can connect to. That's it.
Right, so we actually hop on the motorcycle because we're camped in the desert area at the Rio Grande Village in Big Bend. But it's a 40-minute ride, so we didn't want to take the truck, and we got the motorcycle anyway, so why not? Just so you know, there's 3 different distinct areas within Big Bend, and they're all really far away from each other. So give yourself enough time to either camp at and do small day trips around, or enough time to actually experience each one of them, because they're all very different. There's a river area, a mountain area, and a desert area, and they're all insanely cool in their own way. So right now we're standing in the mountain area of the park, and if you look around behind us, you can start seeing like actual trees, which is crazy because that's only in the mountain area. Whenever you get back into the desert area where we're camping now, it's the typical flat, dry, nothing but prickly pears, a few yuccas, like succulent plants that can survive in little to no water. Until you get to the Rio Grande River, and then all of a sudden, bing, all these crazy trees and bamboos and stuff line just the bank. It's absolutely nutters. So today is our first day exploring Big Bend, and we're gonna go check out a trail called the Lost Mine Trail. Are you ready for this?
We're at the top of semi-top top of the mountain, and it is extremely windy up here. You would never know you were in a dry desert, as it's quite chilly, but spectacular. We just finished the Lost Mine Trail, and surprise to us, there is no mine at the end of the trail. Supposedly, there is a legend that says that a long time ago there was the Chisos Indian tribe who was living here. They were the natives of this area. And of course, the Spanish conquistadors came on over and took over this area. And during their reign, they ended up finding ore, which was really profitable at the time. So they created a mine for this ore, and they enslaved the Chisos and actually blindfolded them so that they couldn't discover where the hidden ore mine was. But the Chisos rebelled, and they ended up killing every single Spanish conquistador and then closing off the mine and keeping it hidden to this day. No one knows if it's really true or not, but it's a pretty cool story. The legend also goes to say that if you go to a specific town in Mexico, on Easter Day there's a light that shines from their church to where the hidden ore mine is today. True? Not true? It's up to you to decide. Still really worth coming if you're in Big Bend. It's a great hike, and you have beautiful vistas over the canyon and all of the mountainous area. It was well worth it. It's an 1,100 foot change in elevation, and it's about 4.8 miles round trip, which we have not hiked on something that intense in quite some time, and we are feeling it. So we are looking forward to going back to the RV, changing into our bathing suit, and relaxing in the hot springs. Yes.
All right, Liz, put the camera down and let's get on Sweet Lime and get the heck out of here.
Hot springs, here we come. We're going to be there during golden hour, which is the lighting right behind me. It's spectacular, and relax and watch the stars, even though the ride down and out is treacherous and our dually. So this is the American side, and IE over there is Mexico. This is Rio Grande. It's not so grand. It's really not.
Oh, it is grand.
It's grand because of its length, not because of its width. But as you can see, pretty easy to get to the other side.
No wall.
No wall. For now.
So what happened?
The hazards of filming on a motorcycle. I had the camera out, filming the beautiful canyon, and a bee hit the phone and went through my jacket. It stung me, and it hurt.
Well, there's that.
I hope it was worth it, because this is for you. Ah, more bugs.
Here in front of the Santa Elena Canyon, we were gonna do mule's ears today, but yeah, it's 105 degrees outside and we only have so much water on our backs, so probably not a good idea. We could have done it, but we don't want to. So now we opted for the trail that had half sun, half shade, and a river to jump in if we get too hot. So let's go.
What we've noticed about Big Bend is that it's just so magnificent. I feel like it feels like the Wild West, like what we, at least for us Floridians where everything's flat, we imagine the West as being this big open space, really majestic. And this is exactly what we're talking about. This is like some Indiana Jones scene where you're swimming in the Rio Grande and there's like this huge, gorgeous canyon. It's just unreal. As we've been going on this trail in the Santa Elena Canyon, it's been crazy to see the difference in habitat. It's changed really dramatically. When we started, it was like canyon, mountainous, lots of cactuses, very desert-like. And then all of a sudden, once you got closer to the riverbed, it turned into less rocky and more flat. And now we have like bamboo thickets, almost like a bamboo forest. We have grass behind us. And then just around the bend, we have like pine trees. It's so diverse. It's crazy. Not what we expected, but gorgeous. It is day 3, and it is our last day, also in Big Bend.
Oh,
so
man, that sucks.
Yeah, but
Not enough time.
Well, we could stay longer, but it's kind of a lot of the
what?
same thing.
Oh, no, it's not. Not even a little bit. Make sure you have at least 5 days solid, including setup and breakdown time when you come here, because you're going to want to hike everything, and if you only have 3 days like us, you're not going to be able to do...
We have 5 days, including setup and breakdown.
Well, okay, 7 days, including setup and breakdown then, because...
Yes. Just some more time.
You're not gonna be able to see it all.
Yep.
Not even close.
Yeah, Santa Elena was beautiful. We wanted to originally, we have a blow up kayak, and we wanted to take that down the river, but unfortunately it is just a little too dry. So in some of the spots we would probably just be carrying the kayak, which wasn't really the vibe we were going for. So we decided we were going to try and do a longer hike today back in the Chisos Basin, which is where we are now. And it's the southern rim, which is probably one of the more popular hikes that you can do here. It is 12 miles. Yeah, 12 miles. So
12.8.
No, I think it's exactly 12.
Just 12.
I think, but we'll see. If we get tired halfway through, there's like a little cut through, and you don't have to finish the whole southern rim. So our goal is to try the whole southern rim, but we'll see. It's also black bear and mountain lion country here. So I'm really hoping to see some black bears. We met people who saw 3 black bears the other day on this mountain. Yep. They're staying in the campground in Chisos Basin, and they said they saw them. So maybe we have a chance. Fingers crossed.
So we went to the visitor center and asked which way to go to the trail, and he goes, "Which trail are you gonna do?" We're like, "The southern rim, duh." Well, then Liz has a bright idea to ask him, how long does that usually take people? And dude said
9 hours on average.
And it's 11.
I don't think it's that late. It's about 10 o'clock, but still, they put us back very late, close to dark. And that doesn't include, like, we're slow hikers. We like to stop and take pictures. We stop and just take in the scenery. That would probably take us 12 hours, easy.
Right. So if we would have been better planners, there's actually campsites that you can get permits for along the trail, so you can overnight and not kill yourself trying to get it all done in one day like we were planning on.
Yeah, but that doesn't really,
we're leaving tomorrow, so
and I wouldn't
we ain't got time for that. You wouldn't have camped on the top of a mountain?
It's not my number one. Anyways, if you want to do that, that's the option. Just be a planner, unlike us. And if not, and you just want to hike the whole thing because you're gung-ho, wake up early and be prepared.
Yeah.
And instead, we're going to the window trail, which is about 5 miles round trip, which is perfect for us.
The window's behind us, as you can see behind us, but then we're actually there's a trail that takes you out close to the window. I'm assuming on top of the peak. I don't know. It might go down past the campground, but we'll see.
I think it's supposed to be mountainous. We'll see.
All right.
Let's go.
See ya. So this is kind of cool. We actually have these in Florida strewn about, and sometimes you'll see them flowering. But what I'm about to show you is the flower and seed stalk from a century plant, which is a strain of agave, which I'm sure you've heard of agave being the plant that they make tequila out of. I don't really know if they make tequila out of the century, but once the century plant stalks and then flowers, the flowers drop off and all of these turn into seed. And then once that happens, the mother plant down here actually dies. It dries up, seeding a new baby century plant. Actually, there's two of them. There's another small one over there. So that's pretty rad. And apparently all agave strains do that. They bolt this huge stalk. Like the century plant, we only have a limited time on this earth. So let's keep hiking. Let's go.
This is the window. When the water flows from the rainfall, it comes crushing through here and falls about 200 feet down. Can you imagine?
Well, that was fun.
So we're leaving Big Bend today. We spent 3 full days here and a total of 4 nights. That included travel time arriving and departing. Overall, we felt it was a really good amount of time here because it is such a hot place and a lot of the activities are outside in the direct sun. We don't suggest spending too much more time. It just depends on you and how often you're in heat like this. For us, it was really exhausting. We absolutely loved the park and would definitely come back and have so much more we want to explore. But we think 3 full days, possibly 4 full days would be plenty to see this park and then come back another time and explore the other activities you didn't do this time. Now, we were going to finish off our last day with a beautiful sunrise in the hot springs, really calm and relaxing, and then hit the road. But last night, a crazy windstorm, which happens here a lot, came through in the middle of the night. We had to wake up at like 2 in the morning and close all of our windows because all of this dust will come in from the sandstorm. And it also made it quite chilly here today, so it's very windy and it's only 65 degrees when yesterday it was in the hundreds. The weather here is really volatile, so be prepared for that. And I hope you guys come because it absolutely is incredible. Thank you, Big Bend.